That's good. Zach, your face is always the largest.
Yeah,
And on
my
stream
camera.
too.
It's so my camera, like it just like it's so tiny. I don't know what it is. Like it's like no matter what program it's in, it's always just so zoomed in, and I can't zoom it out. I've gone into the settings and everything. It sucks.
What an absolutely wonderful way to start a show. Just
We are
technical.
live on the SideQuest in front of a studio audience. How's it going,
Is
everybody?
this your new thing?
Yay.
Just every week we're in front of an audience now?
We are because we are in front of a live studio audience. I'm sitting here in the studio. There's the technical director over there. How's it going? Executive producer.
Your EP
over
there.
The EP right over there. And we got the live audience. Live audience. Yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff. I'm Dolly Domofsky. I don't have the AI eyes set up, so if I look down, I'm still looking down. If I look up, I'm still looking. I gotta change it though, so I can get my AI eyes. Joining me right there, SideQuest.
Hey, that's me.
It is you.
On this side, JJ Holder.
Oh boy.
And the person that'll be right here.
Oh, there.
Taylor Bliss.
Almost had it.
Almost had it. I thought it was gonna pop up on that side. Son of a gun. How's it going, guys?
Pretty good.
Oh, it's going.
It's going.
I've been home from work all of like 25 minutes, so
See,
I'm just
perfect timing. That's what it's all about. I was just mentioning how we're in front of a studio audience. So
I can see it.
There we go.
Thank you, guys. Calm down. No, sit. Thank you. We're the SideQuest, and we're going to talk about video games. Zach, are you looking for? Were you retweeting? Yeah, you were retweeting.
No, I already did that. I was texting my girlfriend. I was reminding her I have a podcast because she's taking a bath. I don't want her to walk in here,
Oh, yeah.
You don't, do you? And boy, are my arms tired.
Gross.
Grandpa Dolly.
Yeah. Anywho,
he's doing it again.
It's been a week. I'm not doing anything. It's been a week. Welcome everybody again. Let's get rocking.
You're so lost.
I am. That's just my head is completely. Let's get on with the news. Let's start there. There hasn't been any news until the last 3 days, and where there was finally some news to go over. A lot of Xbox news. We can start with the layoffs, which I don't think we covered last week, but there were layoffs at Microsoft, and unfortunately, some of that hit Microsoft, the game studio, Xbox game studios, including 343 and Bethesda and some other places. Let me share one of the screens here. Microsoft got 10,000 folks, I think, across the entire company, and yeah, some of it was at the game studios. And it sucks, but this is the environment that we're in. I think we talked a little bit about it in the you have been summoned, yes, in the Discord, which y'all should join the Discord. Digital companies staffed up really quick when the pandemic hit, because they thought everything is going to go digital. So let's just start hiring. Let's hire like crazy because it's going to stay like this, guys. We swear it's going to stay like this. Well, it didn't. It didn't stay like that. And AI took over. But yeah, so it hit the gaming side, unfortunately, and 343 had to make it a point to let everybody know that we're still gonna. Where's their tweet? They had a tweet. I don't think they're linking the tweet here, but they put a tweet out that basically said, Master Chief's not going anywhere, guys. He's still here, and he's still gonna be battling aliens, and shooting shooties, and 343 has held Halo more than Bungie has. I think somebody mentioned that before.
Yeah,
they've held it longer
at this point. Yes.
Yeah. I'm okay giving it to a different group, just because it's.
It certainly
I think
feels
it's
like most of the Halo diehards are okay with giving it to a different group too.
Yeah, it's I mean, it worked for Gears. I think the Gears games have been, they've been progressively getting better and more varied, more enjoyable, I should say, and still selling really well. But anyway, sad news on this part that there were cuts. What are your thoughts? Anybody have anything interesting to say about?
I don't think there's anything anyone could say that will have any sort of real insight
any real effect
in the situation.
It's a sucky
either.
situation.
I mean, this is just the industry. It's always been this way. It's always going to be this way, and it's not just limited to video games. Any sort of entertainment industry constantly has to deal with this kind of stuff. So it's just. It's so much different with the gaming industry because, like, when you hear studio, like 343, it's all they do is Halo. When these things happen to, like, Universal, it doesn't really have the same ripple across the industry.
Sure.
Sure.
I mean, we heard about layoffs all over the place, in tech, in media, in
all the games
journalism.
Journalists
here's one that here's a weird blast from the past, but apparently was still around, and that is EGM. It was still around. EGM now was still around. I say that because they've just shut down, and the announcement came today, which is just wild. I did not know EGM was still around. Apparently it was.
It's still around in the way that, like, Circuit City is still around. Like, you can go to a website and buy something from Circuit City, but it's not really.
But apparently the announcement came today from folks on staff. It's receiving word that on Monday that it shut down. So that sucks.
It's very strange that all of these, the Washington Post just cut their vertical, which we were probably going to get to right after this. But, like,
go ahead. Yeah.
The only people that we ever hear this from are the people getting. I mean, this is really tough because, like, the only thing worse than the people getting released announcing it would be them finding out because they released a press release, saying it.
Learning that you're fired from a tweet is never
right. Nobody wants that. But what's strange is that there's never, like. If it does, it's constantly buried, which is another indicator of bad PR. There's never a statement from any of the outlets about, like, what happened and the fact that it's going a farewell to any of the people that are gone. It's always I don't know. It's always so unhuman.
Yeah, especially since a lot of games journalism these days is sort of built around personality and, like, cult of personality kind of stuff. Like, Giant Bomb was hit with layoffs, and, like, that's all Giant Bomb is like the people and the personalities, and all you get is the tweets from them directly. You feel like there would be some sort of send-off on the website, but nah, just go about your business.
It's a very, we've been saying it for the last 3 years. It's a very strange time in the industry. And a lot of that
was it.
I think. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, was it Google that I was reading? Like, people were, like, going up, and the only way you knew you were fired is if you tried to swipe your key card.
Your key card didn't work anymore.
Yeah. If it went green, you were allowed in, and if it went red, it means you were let go. Kind of.
That's me every time. Like, our key card stays red. The reader at the office, and when you walk up and you scan in front of it, if it beeps and it stays red, then you're locked out, which could be your card is just messed up.
Yeah,
but you want it to beep and turn green, which unlocks the door and lets you in, and it wasn't working here. That's just a weird thing. I mean, Stadia, even this was the last day of Stadia, was end of last week, I think.
Yeah,
so really weird time. I think again, a lot of it was gaming was just booming. 2-3 years ago, coverage of gaming was booming, and it goes up and down, it goes in waves, and then it kind of I don't know if it hit its peak or not, but I will say that these big media conglomerates did not understand. They don't seem to understand journalism in the first place, but did not understand gaming journalism.
Gaming journalism, yeah.
And so that's why you saw all these places shut down. All these great folks are now looking for gigs, and in most cases, I would say, yeah, they'll find footing. This person's great. They'll find a job somewhere soon. But when you have so many people looking for gigs, I mean, like I said, I will sell side questing to any conglomerate of journalists that is willing to buy it, but not a conglomerate from a media company. Jeff Gersman, whoever else. If you guys want to buy side questing, we're here for you.
Fold side questing into the kind of funny family, and
there you go.
I knew Zach was gonna respond.
I quit.
And so sucky time, and sending our best to all the folks in this case.
Almost certainly somebody that has written something for side questing at some point was laid off in this last week.
Yeah, or was a part of some major layoffs somewhere. Yeah. We had friends at Fanbyte that have written for us. We had friends at Giant Bomb that have written for us, and then friends at IGN that had written for us, and they were around all the other folks that had layoffs and stuff. So it's been tough. It's been tough. Another thing that was kind of tough. If you're Microsoft and you're looking to sell hardware, you're probably in a tough spot right now. Revenues, Xbox Q2 revenues are down, and these are holiday revenue era, right? Or time frame, which is really bad because that's when everybody's buying stuff. Now, Game Pass went up, but Game Pass going up, you still have a 13% decline in revenue. Is a pretty wild number. Now, of course, what that means is everybody's going to Game Pass. We understand that. This is why Microsoft wants to get Activision and Blizzard and King, because that's going to bolster the growth into Game Pass and providing content there. We're going to get to a point where there's not enough. I mean, I heard it all through November and December. A lot of folks are saying, well, there's really nothing on Game Pass right now. There wasn't first party, but there really wasn't a lot of stuff third party either. And I think a lot of the Game Pass growth was people that were getting in it the first time, but I can definitely imagine folks were kind of scratching their heads at new content. So buying something like Activision and Blizzard would help bring more content in and help continue people continue subscribing. But again, you ain't selling hardware. You ain't selling software directly. It's all Game Pass. You ain't selling accessories anymore as much as you used to, because Sony has kind of taken over with their weird DualShock, whatever their controllers are called now. And so it's just it's going to be an interesting path forward. I think part of it has to be I was in all throughout the shopping season, the holiday season, I go to Target or Best Buy, and you see stacks and stacks and stacks of Series S because that is the hot seller. It's the hot seller. Microsoft is I don't want to say they shot themselves in the foot, because they actually did a good job in providing a digital only, just a hard drive only version of their Xbox. But at the same time, the folks who want the horsepower of the Series X don't really want discs anymore either. And I think we've talked about it in the past that, there have been allusions to products in the middle that may be like a high powered Series S successor type of thing. And there was the streaming stick thing.
I think the only one that makes any sort of sense is just a digital only Series X at this point.
Yes, I agree at this point. And I feel like that's why they canceled their original streaming box, because they figured, you know what, we already have Game Pass on the actual TV and on everybody's phones, and they can shoot it to their TV. So if we're gonna make a box, let's make a box a little more powerful. Very interesting. I do think this year you're going to see new hardware. Personally, I think you're going to see new hardware from Microsoft, because they need to do something to get this stuff back up. But it's tough time for the hardware side for Microsoft. Again, Game Pass is killing it. You got a lot of and the developer direct, which we'll talk about here in a second, did a really good job today. But I think part of the issue was also being absent from the Game Awards. They didn't have anything to show there, which a lot of people thought one of the games that they debuted today would have been perfect at the Game Awards to show a teaser. That would have hyped everybody up. So really, I feel like a lot of this stuff with Microsoft is linked: the 10,000 layoffs, the restructuring, the shift into AI. Like they just signed a multi-billion-dollar deal with OpenAI. So there's a lot of things. A lot of stuff is juggling right now with Microsoft.
So
what are your all thoughts? Enough of me talking.
I just think I was just thinking how it's sad that they bought AI. It's going to like single-handedly destroy the gaming industry and like writing and so much stuff.
Can't wait to play the next Xbox first party hit that's completely written in AI. It's gonna be great.
I mean, I do think the OpenAI stuff is more going to be for their server stuff, their back end, helping things like within Office 365.
Clippy is back, and now he's thinking.
Yeah, Clippy.
That's what they say, Terminator. Right? Like that's what they say, but like we've had so much fiction in the last 50 years that that kind of points at like things that happen that could happen, and it's just like
you mean a business doing shady things behind the scenes with the technology that they've acquired?
Yeah, it's just I think essentially this is going to be talking about AI now, but I think it's cool. Like on paper, it's cool. It's cool that I can talk to a robot and it can spit out, an equation or whatever. That's cool. But if you give it to the public, or if you give it to a company or anyone, private interests are going to get involved, especially when the AI is able to grow as fast as it can grow, or like it can like pass a medical test.
That's wild. Yeah.
Interesting. But there's like, okay, this is like we're reaching that dystopian future where things are getting kind of strange.
I like that one app that everyone was sharing where you could have a conversation with a historical figure, and it was just always like you're talking to it's like, so what did you think about all of the racism you did? I feel bad about the racism I did.
Sure you do.
Yeah. Well, it's like that's kind of the opposite of what most AI bots do, though. Is most AI bots just get racist in general for whatever reason. But these ones are like, you know what? I hate it.
Well, it's the one thing that's the most accurate Marvel movie of all time is Age of Ultron, because all he did was spend 35 seconds on the internet and realized we all needed to be destroyed. So, completely
agree. We're all gonna be taken over by these AI. Ah, he's back! Oh no! Look out! Look out! Oh god!
Look at those are the eyes of somebody that's killed a man.
Clippy AI. But it's going to be a real interesting time over the next few months here at the old green box company.
Just a bunch of very sad people at PAX East in a couple of months.
Yes. Hey, great point. You mentioned PAX East. That's a thing. It's a place where we team SideQuesting will be actually.
Yeah.
And I just want people to know that one of the things you can definitely do to help us out at PAX East, besides like just give us money so we can get there, is check out our party list. The PAX East 2023. Just remember, do a search for the big PAX East 2023 party list or the PAX East party. If you just do a search for PAX East party, we're essentially the first ones that pop up. Hop in the Discord. We have a bunch. Check out this snazzy.
Yeah.
Thank you to JJ for giving me the idea to do a laser disc style.
Yeah, I was so happy when I saw the line through party list. I was like, yeah, he listened.
Exactly. But it's funny because there are, and without getting into it, we'll talk offline. There are several hints within this poster as to what our Team Choice Award is going to be like this year. And it's going to be quite possibly the best Team Choice Award, physical award that we've ever given out. And I'm really excited for it. JJ and I were just
I still can't believe that you went for solid gold.
It's going to be solid gold and crystal.
Yeah.
I thought it was Doritos dust infused.
I mean, listen,
it will end up being
Volcanoes does.
But yeah, a bunch of events already. Surprisingly, everything popped up in the last like 24 hours, 48 hours.
Everyone in the industry is ready to just get drunk right now.
Yeah, yeah. I will just say this: surprisingly, there are a lot of irons in the fire right now, in terms of events and parties, and I have heard of events that will be happening this year that are much more interesting than in the last few years at PAX East, which is very cool. But it seems to be, I mean, we loved PAX East last year. It was a blast. There's going to be definitely 4 of us, potentially 5 of us, maybe even 6 of us this year at PAX East, including the guy at the top right there. Zach's trying to make it out there. And Tommy Johnson could be making it out there again. So yeah, it's going to be potentially a very fun time at PAX East this year, and we hope to see you all there as we check out all the cool games. And yeah, however, any other news we want to get into?
I think. I mean, you want to talk
let's
about
talk about the actual developer direct.
Want to talk? No, I was gonna say, Zach. Do you want to talk about the game that was delayed yesterday?
Yeah, we'll talk about the game that was delayed yesterday. Okay, so the most wishlisted
this is
game.
Amazing. This is amazing.
I love
the
this
most
story.
wishlisted game on Steam is a game called The Day Before, and it had a trailer, I think, 2 or 3 years ago at the Game Awards. So that's kind of where the initial hype came from, which is very odd. And you go to the Twitter page for this game, and the only person that I follow that follows this is Jeff Keighley, so he's involved somehow in this mess. But they haven't shown any like raw gameplay off, which is even funnier. It's like, here's this cinematic trailer for our MMO RPG The Last of Us open world game.
Yeah, definitely not The Last of Us. Original OC, do not copy.
Okay, so they showed this off a couple years ago, and they've been teasing for a while, like, hey, we're going to show off gameplay. And finally, yesterday, they were supposed to show off gameplay, but then the game just magically disappeared from Steam. It was like, boop, it was gone. And people started freaking out. People on the Discord were like, what happened?
Why are there dudes working out? This is amazing. What does that have to do with the game?
It's like, what happened? What happened to the game? And then they claimed that it was a bug on Steam's end, which is not true.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to the
changed.
Yeah, so you can go to the back end of Steam and kind of see when games are added and removing things, and they removed it themselves. But the reason why it was removed is because they didn't copyright the name The Day Before. That's their reasoning. And they posted the legal documents of The Day Before hasn't been trademarked. And they're like, this is the guy that stole it from us, blah blah blah, and they try to make it out like they got it stolen from them. But you can go into the document and look that they sent this off to get approved and didn't provide the correct documents to get back to their lawyer who was doing it for the court system, all this stuff. So they didn't get back to it, and they waited a year after they announced the game to even try and copyright it. So then some random guy said, I'm gonna do it, so he stole it. And so then now they're like, okay, game's delayed for 9 months. We'll get back to you. It's like, and then they're like, we got to talk to our lawyer to see if we can show off any gameplay. Yeah, because this right here isn't supposedly what it is. Like, this isn't real gameplay. It's just a cutscene, basically. And then this morning,
what it actually is, nobody knows.
Yeah,
yeah. So nobody knows what this game is. And then this morning, the community manager, and then the mod
like a
of the
Samsung
Discord
commercial is really all this is, right?
Yeah.
And the mods in the Discord for this game are like, I don't think this game exists anymore. So now they're having this like existential crisis in the Discord. It's great.
It's super unclear what the grift is on this game because money hasn't.
There's almost assuredly there is one though.
Yeah, because this game didn't have a Kickstarter. This game wasn't available for pre-order. It's not like they were grifting money out of people like pre-ordering the game and running off with it or anything.
Is this what Abandoned actually is? Is this Abandoned? Do we find Abandoned?
Yeah. They're the same game. It's some sort of like metaverse that they've created.
There you go.
Yeah, it's really funny. It was
we
like
legally can't say that it's a grift yet, but
we legally can't. It's just so weird because even when like you look at like even when you look at replies to their tweets and stuff, people are like, this game's going to change the world. Everything's crazy. Like, oh my God. It's the game that Jeff Keighley is always talking about when he says, this is the craziest thing you've ever seen. This next game we're showing is blah, blah. He's talking about this game. But yeah, it's weird. It's funny. I always see this game. Yeah. I always see this game
not
on
the Last
Steam.
of Us logo. Definitely not the Last of Us logo.
Yeah. I'm like always browsing Steam for like new games and stuff, and this game always pops up, and I'm like, what is this? And then now I've recently just been getting into this like lore, I guess, and it's just like, bro,
they're really drawing out this release date. 6/21, the date. 2025. What the? 2024. Wait for it.
Wait.
2023. The date.
Yeah, it's definitely not coming out.
Nope. 2022.
It ain't happening.
I forgot about that part.
This was 1 year ago.
So even then,
January. Goodness.
Even then, people still haven't seen anything. No one's had hands on. No one knows what it plays like. They've been teasing. We're gonna show it off. Hey, the game's gonna come out. And it's like, it's a stinker.
The official SideQuesting toilet award.
Yep. In games that are coming out, they're Microsoft news.
Yeah.
There was an event today. Speaking of people not trademarking stuff, shame on Nintendo for not trademarking Direct because Microsoft stole it and changed it to developer.
Well,
developer
like trademarking
today.
You can't trademark. You can't trademark a word.
No, but Bethesda definitely did by trademarking scrolls. So
it's like that one guy that trademarked Edge, and now nothing can be called Edge.
Nothing can be Edge. Yeah.
Well, it's like the YouTubers who tried to. It's like the YouTubers who tried to copyright React. It's like,
that's right.
You can't do that, dude. That's a word people use.
Yeah.
Here's something you can react to: Hi-Fi Rush, which
this game's so good.
Leaked a couple days ago. But just the name. Nobody else knew what was.
It's a very good name.
It's a very good name. It's a very good game. It's a lot of fun. It's not a giant game. It's a Tango. Is putting so the Tango Game Works. I forget. They're putting this game together, and it's a rhythm action. Go ahead, Zach. Talk about it.
Yeah, so it's a rhythm action game it's not directed by Shinji Mikami, but it's produced by him. There's a lot of there's a lot of music in here that will get you banned on Twitch. So if you're streaming, don't.
They have two versions, a streamer mode.
Yeah,
right?
There's a streamer mode and there's a non-streamer mode with like 9 Inch Nails, black keys, a bunch of bands. But yeah, it's really intriguing. I played it for about an hour right before the podcast.
Same.
And it works really well. Like I'm actually shocked at how it feels like when you play Mario, like the ones on the Wii, when everything moves with the music. That's how this feels. You know, it has like there's a droning guitar in the background and like sometimes some beats and stuff that pop up, but everything, the animations, the cutscenes, you're fighting, the way the platforms move, everything is in tune, in beat with the song that's playing. So it's just kind of I thought it would be hard to keep a beat doing an action game because action games you can kind of button mash. And
there are only two buttons.
There's
a weak attack and a strong attack, and that's how you do combos.
And the dodge is also in time, and the jump is too, but that's probably not something a lot of people will be concerned about. But the game, since everything around it is actually it's like pulsating with the beat. You have a little cat named 808 who's like flashing like a little symbol.
808.
Yeah,
that helps you stay staying with the beat. And it's really fun. Like, as a person who likes rhythm games, who likes action games, who likes just kind of this kind of aesthetic looking, it's just like a perfect kind of combination of those things. The humor is actually really good. The trailer does a super bad job of showing it off.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say they did the thing in the trailer, you know.
Yeah, they did the you might wonder how I got here. Well, they did that, and I was like, "Oh, this looks so bad." And then
it was
through
a good first impression.
Yeah, and then towards the end, I was like, "Okay, this looks sick." And the game is nowhere near that. It's carried by what's his name? Who voiced Robin in Teen Titans? Roger Craig Smith. He voices the main character. Mm-hmm. He carries a lot of weight. He's a really good vocalist with his voice acting. He does super good. The whole cast is really good with their voices. And I think it's like, I'm assuming it's gonna be like a 5 boss kind of boss rush type of not boss rush game, but like 5 levels. And I'm assuming each level is gonna have a different song, a different beat. That's what I'm gonna assume. But it's really cool. Like, I'm genuinely shocked. It's the first game of the year that I've had fun with that isn't like an older game. So
the world ends with you meets Sunset Overdrive. The world ends with Sunset Overdrive.
It doesn't always have to compare to something else, Dally.
Yeah.
You know what? It does. And it compares to two things that are very nice in my heart, which is good.
We're starting this era of music-based games now,
and I get to talk about one later on as well.
It's really coming back.
Yeah, because BPM and Hellsinger and stuff, and
there's just one that needs to come back. The one that we all want.
Elite Beat Agents.
The Elite Beat Agents. That's the one.
Or Uendon, depending on where.
There's a new Necro Dancer game coming out.
Yeah, there is. I played it at PAX. It kicks ass.
Do you remember when they did that Zelda one? That was crazy.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
That's crazy that it exists. I can't believe it exists.
I just remembered it. I was like, that's a thing that happened.
I've actually been playing the game through Game Pass Ultimate on the Steam Deck, and it functions.
What's that?
Okay, which is good. We were just talking about the Hi-Fi Rush. Streaming it to the Steam Deck.
Hi-Fi Rush.
Hi-Fi. The only issue I would say with that type of game on streaming is that timing becomes
latency.
So you have to. Thankfully. That you can actually fiddle with the settings and the options to make it so it's a little bit more generous.
I tested it to see how far it would let me go, and I pushed it as far as I could to the right and said, "You can't play this game." That's what it said. It said your setup is not ready to play this game.
Wow.
Nice. So,
my man, you got to go back.
Yeah, you got to go back, bro. Another game that was showcased. Is one that I'm actually also kind of excited about, and that's everything that's not Minecraft proper, but is in the Minecraft universe.
Cool.
Sign me up, because the Minecraft dungeon crawler game was great, and then Minecraft Legends, which is what this is, looks really cool. This is your style game. This feels like a Zach style game.
It feels like a Taylor game to me. It's like It's like
maybe if there was farming
3. Yeah, it's like a Warcraft 3 like modernized with Minecraft. It's really strange. There's a lot of
actually, look at that. I don't think I've really sat down and watched this trailer very much, to be honest.
They're doing a great job with Minecraft and what they do with the universe. I think So this is coming out. By the way, the other game was release day of Hi-Fi Rush. This is coming out April 18th, and this is going to be on everything. So Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, PC, probably on phones too, probably on your toaster, on Steam Deck. It's everywhere. Netflix will likely have it. It is, and they're very smart about how they release. This game. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So what kind of game is it? I actually don't know.
It's like
it's like a
base,
base building RTS
Rust game. It's a lot of things. They showed off like some gameplay, and they were showing off like how the back and forth between fighting like a enemy's base, because the enemies are going to be people, like they're going to be actual people on a server that you queue into. I guess you play 3-hour-long games. I don't know. Like, I don't know how long the games are going to take for you to like accumulate resources, build, and do all this. But because it's kind of like Age of Empires as well.
Yeah,
it's
in a way, yeah.
Strange.
Yeah.
So it's like, and they showed off. Okay, so this is a strategy that you can do to fight this, and this is how you counter it by building walls, and then you can build trebuchets and all these things. Just kind of showing off the back and forth and like a RTS. Civilization, Age of Empires game.
Take away some of my agency in Minecraft, and I'm a little more interested in.
Exactly, and that's why I'm interested in this. I've liked every Minecraft. I don't like Minecraft proper. It just seems, I don't know. I just never got into it. But Minecraft Legends looks great. The Minecraft Dungeons, whatever that's called, is a blast. The Minecraft Telltale game was pretty cool too.
Oh yeah, that's right. They did that.
About that, the adventure game. So they've
dude, and they kill the pig, and then it's like really sad, and it was like, oh no, the pig's dead.
Yeah, oh no, look at that. But there you go. Pre-order now. So yeah, that's coming out April 18th. And hey, there was Redfall. You guys heard of Redfall?
No, unfamiliar.
It's the game that's going to get obliterated by Zelda.
I'm going to forget about it too. Dude,
it's coming out May 2nd, which is like a week and a half before Zelda or something like that. It's just, I feel so bad about Redfall, because any other time I'd be kind of interested in this game.
I mean, I want to feel bad for Redfall, but at the same time, I don't know. It does not feel like it's done a lot with what it had.
For what it could, sure.
Well, and not just that, but like for what it had for as long as it had. You know, we can argue that, you know, pre-release hype doesn't translate into success or dollars necessarily, but then why did they put so much PR heft behind it?
Sure.
I don't know if there were promises that were made but couldn't be kept.
Promises were made.
I mean, here's the thing: is that you put PR weight behind a project that's not close to release when somebody makes promises about how good it's going to be, and then there's somebody that believes in those things and they get greenlit to push it in a certain way. I mean, they pushed, in my opinion, Redfall pretty hard. Now, granted, people caught it really and ran with it a bit. You know, there's always a fan side of the kind of PR hype cycle that is an attribute that you have to attribute to it.
I did include it in my memorial video for the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Today's gameplay trailer was like, did not feel like it to me. I mean, it showed off more of what the game actually is, which is good, because we just kept not knowing for a long time, even when we supposedly saw what the game was about. But I don't know. This was not a great showing, in my opinion.
So my hunch is Arcane pitched this to Xbox, and they're like, sounds good. And then the scope got bigger, and then Microsoft was like, yeah, let's do that. Because Arcane was their new studio that they just got. So like, cool, yeah, let's go ahead and push that up. And then Arcane doesn't have the talent or that's kind of rude to say, but they don't have the correct people working on the game to pull off an open world game at the
scope that they were trying to
do. So, and Microsoft has a really hard time of telling people no. as we've been able to tell. So,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, I just wish this game had like a more gothic aesthetic of some way. Make it look like Batman, like the animated series or something, where it's like a modernized Victorian or something. Just something.
I mean, a lot of the games that this applies to a lot of things that I feel like that have been coming out, but like it applies to a lot of things need stronger aesthetic visions. That
people
are
aren't
actually
getting weird.
Kept, instead of like pitched
the blood
and then originally, sometimes they'll even demo it with that aesthetic vision, and then
this just
it doesn't
looks
make
like
it because somebody cuts it along the way because they're like, we need this to be a little bit safer.
This game looks exactly like Dying Light. Like it doesn't look like anything.
So, like what I thought it was, I thought this game was going to be like a narratively focused multiplayer game that plays like Left 4 Dead. That's what I thought this was.
Yeah.
But they show it off, and there's no there's no density in encounters. There's just like 4 or 5 dudes that you pop as like. So why is there a multiplayer element to this? It doesn't look like you need multiple people for this game. And it says you can play it solo. But it's like, it looks like you're playing with 4 people, but there's like 3 dudes in a room. Like, why is this? Why do I need all these crazy powers?
I was gonna say, and you get powers, and you're like, well, why? I have guns that are apparently quite good.
This is funny because it feels like Microsoft, when they bought Bethesda, they told Arcane, they're like, all right, make another.
Hopefully this is just bad.
Make Dishonored 3. They said make Dishonored. Look how bad this looks. Oh my gosh. They're like make Dishonored 3, and Arcane's like, well, we don't want to make Dishonored 3. We want to be known as it. We don't want to be known as the Dishonored studio. So no, you have to make Dishonored 3. Well, listen, and that's when they probably said, well, let us make another game first, and then we'll make Dishonored. They quickly scribbled on like a sticky note. It's like, we're gonna call it Redfall. All right, now we got to figure out what Redfall is.
Yeah.
And that they've just been milking the timing on this. Microsoft probably like, are you guys going to put this out this year? Yeah, we got a little bit more work to do. They're just avoiding making Dishonored at all. So they're probably just
which is so bizarre because like Dishonored is that one thing that actually does have aesthetic and character to it. And who knows? Maybe this is a PR problem, and this game is going to come out and it's going to fucking whip ass. I don't know.
Maybe, definitely. That's what happened.
I like a lot of the things that Arcane has made. So
I mean, fucking Deathloop has like style out the ass,
right?
And then you have this.
So I don't know. I mean, I can't tell if we have a PR problem or what. But
even when they like talked about the mechanics of the game, like towards the end, they were like, if you kill a boss, they have unique powers, and it's like a guy with a shield, and they shoot him once and he dies. Like, okay, cool. But then he drops like a heart, and then that spawns him into like a raid boss room. Like, that's interesting. That's why we need multiplayer. But why do we need that leading up to this raid boss drop thing? Like, what's the?
It's so weird. Like, it's a like New England based crypto like vampire game. Like you have all of the fucking like the aesthetic is sort of created for you, and you just made a first person shooter that they don't even look like, I don't know, it makes me so mad every time I see footage of this game. Like there should be more to it than just like off the shelf looking cityscapes and weapons, and nothing about it feels like it's an Arcane game in any way, shape, or form. Yeah. It's just so depressing. Especially coming off of Deathloop, which I really, really like Deathloop.
I really like Deathloop. So good.
But you know what? I think you can almost argue, going back to my point about PR, that Deathloop had a very similar PR problem.
That's what I said.
Yeah. So
sorry if I didn't catch it, Ed, but
that's right.
But yeah, I mean, it was the game that they delivered, which was very good, is not what
But at
they
least
put on the press campaign.
Yeah, but at least going out there, they were like, this game looks dumb, but it looks great. It's got a cool like look to it. Like they don't even have that going for Redfall. They just have like, you've been making this for 5 years, huh? Okay.
That's what you were working on.
There was one more game. I mean, there was Elder Scrolls Online, which they're still trying to make a thing. But there was one.
It is a thing. It's pretty popular.
It is. I guess maybe just none of us on.
It just doesn't penetrate the like
the side questing.
Yeah,
because we're all Final Fantasy 14 nuts.
No shot that Zach hasn't played a ton of Elder Scrolls Online. Yeah. No shot.
I was about to say I put in a couple hundred hours. So you're just kind of talking.
There was one more game that I was really interested in.
So you barely touched it, is what you're saying by comparison.
And maybe this is just me.
Forza.
Forza. Do you really think it's just you? We've talked about racing games ad nauseum.
I'll give you 2.
3 of us on staff who are hardcore racing enthusiasts. This is where Chris Sasaki is a great director. He's been doing a lot of good stuff with this. But I'm so excited for Forza. When the developer _direct, and that's what I'm going to call it. When the developer _direct was announced, they said these are going to be games that are launching the first half of the year. And before June. I'm like, oh, cool. That means Forza is coming. Let's see. I'm trying March, maybe April. That one could launch in May because different enough from Zelda. I could only
June 31st.
June 31st. I love it. June 30th. They said 2023, so this is November. It's gonna be a November game, but it's just so hot. There's so many aspects of this.
Yo, dog, did you see how dirty those cars got?
I made it a point.
He wouldn't stop tweeting about it. What are you talking about?
I've been dreaming about dirt on cars. Okay, so again, the reason that it's important, I had to tell someone this, is the sense of realism that you get. The sense of realism that you get in a vehicle does affect how you. There's like a weird periphery, a weird way of commanding, moving a car in a game. There's so many aspects of subconsciousness that we don't take into effect, and dirt on a car, I think, is actually one of those weird levels of subconsciousness that you're going to drive your car differently if you see dirt on it, because it may just be dirty, but you might be thinking, I'm driving it a little bit too rough. I have to stay more on the track.
Yeah.
And there are those aspects that are not
do you remember, like, in the original Gran Turismos, you used to have to get car washes because if your car got too dirty, it would create more drag?
And this is just like that. And I think it's fantastic. And look how beautiful this vet is.
And the thing that I love about the Forza games is, like, by looking at that's not bullshit. Like, that's the game. Like, they always deliver on their on their visuals.
It's so wild to see the difference between this and Gran Turismo, because Gran Turismo is car culture. Yeah. It's always been about the car culture. Forza is about the cars and like realism and physics. Now, racing wise, I wouldn't call it a sim racer, because there's still some arcadiness.
Yeah, Forza definitely has leaned harder into making it as accessible as possible.
Especially
and Gran Turismo. Yeah. Gran Turismo is actively antagonistic towards its players. So.
But that's the car culture, and I think they've done a good job with this. I love
the paint in Gran Turismo, because like it actually has like a clear coat. So like when the ray tracing hits it, the light scatters as if it has a clear coat, not just like the surface of it's some ridiculous bullshit. And this is doing the same thing.
This is not in that Mercedes that you just saw there, that was doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And so to me, this is great. I'm so excited for this. 2023. We've known it's coming out this year.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Let's do it. Probably November. I wish it was earlier. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if it's October. Sometime in October, which I'd be
Arthur Schreck.
So yeah, Forza, good stuff. Let's move on. I'm sure there's a bunch of other news, but we're already at 50 minutes of time here. So let's get into games that we've been playing. First of all, what are you drinking there, Taylor? It looks good. Is that an old fashioned?
No, that's just on the rocks.
Nice, just straight. That's good. What about you, Zach?
Roses.
Look, Is that wine that you're
Yeah,
drinking?
just straight, just
hell yeah, dude.
Just $2
That's
check out there. Just
that's good. I like that.
Next time you got to make sure you pull out just your box and then you just press
I have a Mountain Dew Pitch Black Zero. So.
Nice. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Grape.
There's so many of the Mountain Dew flavors.
I'm still drinking the last of that alcoholic Keurig brew.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
I have one last little Keurig that I figure I'm gonna use it. The last little K-cup. So, games that we've been playing. We've gotten a bunch of review codes in. Weirdly enough, it's the
not me.
Yeah. We're waiting for yours
take a
to
break.
come in. The rest. It's funny. I had games for you that were right up your alley, and Zach's like, I'm calling it.
Yeah.
I want the adventure games.
Yeah.
Give them to me.
Yeah.
And so he gets them, and he gets.
What's the one I got? Can I even talk? I mean, people know the game exists. Grund. I wanted Grund because it looks like Disco Elysium. I was like, okay, I'll take it. Like that's just kind of.
I don't think we're not allowed to state what.
Yeah, it's like
Grund is out tomorrow, so you can talk. You can talk about it. Yeah, you can talk a little bit. But we haven't had much of a chance. I gave you those code while you were working, so I'm sure you didn't have much of a chance to even play any of those. Well, since Zach started talking, what can you talk about? What have you been playing that you can talk about?
Ooh, I've only played one of the three, but the one I did play was Dread Templar. Is that what it's called? Yep. Yes.
That game looks
Dread
rad.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's kind of, as a boomer shooter person who plays a bunch of these aesthetically old looking
it's a Dusk enthusiast
shooters.
Yeah,
Dusk enthusiast. It's whenever I play these games, I need to play it and figure out what makes this different than Doom, what makes this different than Quake, what makes this different than Dusk. Like, there's a lot of games that come out that are inspired by those games that are just like those games, but in different aesthetics, looks, whatever, feeling. This is... It does a good job of being like Doom and like Quake, but the systems in it are different enough to where it feels like a much different game than something that you're thinking of. Like you have a weapon bench where you upgrade your weapons, like those spiky pistols. I don't even have those yet. They're different guns. The ice ones, fire ones, whatever. Like there's so many different things you can add onto your guns. That's really cool. And there's a bunch of little mods you can find. You have to find through exploration of levels, which is like, it's an insane amount of secrets hiding. You have to like actually try, and you're descending the layers of hell to get revenge for someone. Yeah, it's good. It feels really good to play. The main mechanic really is the second ability of the weapon. So like the right click, you can, for some guns like the pistols, you can swap those out to be dual auto or single shot, or you can swap between the shotgun to be a double barrel single shot. And then you have katanas, and you can put the katana together and make a spear and throw it, and it's a one-hit kill against most guys. It takes a bit to respawn. You have these abilities, spawners on the bottom of your of these counters on the bottom of your screen. So you have your dash, you have your katana spear, and then you have the bow and arrow shooter thing. And that's pretty much like the bow and arrow is also it's a stronger one-hit kill, and it has farther range. So there's a lot of rooms where you go into where you're like, I don't want to waste all these bullets, so I might as well pull out my bow and arrow. It has 4 shots. Let me get these shots off and, take out some dudes. But the powerful shot is only on a cooldown. So it's kind of you have to balance those CDs differently than you would in other games. But yeah, it's definitely good. It's definitely the better. Cultic was good. This one's good. So it's kind of in that vein where it's like, oh, this is doing something I find pretty interesting.
And I love the variety of weapons. I realized I had a code for this in early access for like the last year and didn't realize I played a preview of it and then some other stuff. And then so you get the full release code, and I opened up my Steam Deck. It's like, you have Dread Templar. I'm like, oh wait, I did have that.
All the weapons.
Leaving early access is the most exciting part about this trailer.
So like the weapons, what's really cool is like these are all the same weapons you start the game with. They're just different things you've added on to it.
Sure. Yeah. That's a cool twist to this.
Yeah.
Like
so it's like you have your 4 mainstays. You get good with those. Let's add things on top of it and see how crazy we can get. And there's a bunch of challenge levels that you can do that are inside the levels that you need to unlock hearts, to unlock slots on your weapons, on your character. There's a lot of things to explore. It just feels like I keep comparing it to like Doom and Quake, but it honestly, if someone gave me this game and said, hey, play this old game from 2002, I wouldn't think any different. Like it just feels like a game straight out of that kind of era. It's definitely a cool game. So
worth checking out. I think it's only on PC right now.
Yeah, it has controller support. So
like I said, Steam Deck, baby. Probably a pretty good Steam Deck game. I haven't played on the Steam Deck. I played on my laptop, so probably a pretty good Steam Deck game. Anything else you've been playing?
Let me check. I'm playing a lot of World of Warcraft. You guys don't want to hear about that.
You're playing in China?
Yeah, I was playing in China with my friends. No, so I guess I'll talk about Dragon Quest or Dragon Warrior 7. I've been playing through that.
Nice, yeah. Love it.
So
wait, Dragon Warrior 7 or Dragon Quest 7?
Technically, he's playing Dragon Quest 7.
Which version? Because it was
3DS
Warrior
version.
PlayStation 1.
Oh, because
I thought you showed me 3DS.
No.
I thought
I sent you a screenshot of my emulator as a PlayStation 1 version.
And I love Dragon Quest 7. I played it I have my 3DS version. That is easily 100-hour game. Easily.
Yeah, so what I did was I downloaded a Prima Games guide, like an old Prima Games guide for this. And that's like my only reference for playing, like while playing this game, is to refer to the strategy guide. And you definitely need a guide for this game. There's so much stuff that's just like to me, I'll naturally like find it, because I talk to every NPC, I go to every room, I look at everything. That's just how I play games in general. So naturally, I'm going to find the solution to it. But there's also some things where it's like they just don't tell you. Like, Dolly, you remember the fire room in the first temple with you and Kiefer? It was like you go through and do all these puzzles, and you're like, okay, I need to find the cap for this statue. And you're like, I've literally been through this dungeon 20 times. There's no other room. And it's like, oh, the first room you enter is a puzzle that I didn't even know about. So you have to like go all the way back and like, okay. And there's just so many things like that I love. I genuinely just like love that sense of adventure and exploration. But I love how much they dedicate to just letting the world kind of exist and like permeate. It's like it's a JRPG that usually has combat in the first hour. There's no combat in the first like 6-7 hours of this game. You're just kind of chilling with your friend, walking around trying to like discover stuff, and then things just start piling out of control. And then you're like, oh, I can fight, and then that's cool. But it's just like it's a really ballsy move of them to be like, you know what, no combat in our JRPG for at least 7 hours. And
Enix.
I think it was like 3.5 hours, at least the 3DS version.
The 3DS version cut
3.5 hours. Yeah,
the 3DS version cut out a lot of stuff that the PS1 version had, because it's just like weird esoteric stuff that you need a guide to like figure out. So esoteric. Yeah, it's the game that I'm like, what do I want to play? And if I don't think of anything, I just start chipping away at this. It's so good.
This was a fantastic game to play on the toilet at work when you're in between meetings. I'm not even kidding, because like it's like, oh man, crap, literally. I'm tired. I need to wake up a little bit, but I can I could play some 3DS. I can play Dragon Quest 7 because it's very obviously there's here. I'm gonna get to some of the actual gameplay portion. There you go. This is like the first part of the first disc where you're not doing anything for the first several hours. You're just walking around.
You
no
really
battles.
don't. You really don't.
But it's still so good. It's just expertly made. I loved the visual style that they utilized in the PlayStation version, which was to take the 2D sprite graphics and drop them onto a 3D sprite world. So they like went all out with trying to maintain their 16-bit-ish feel, and they did a pretty good job.
And Taylor and I were talking, and he was saying like, yeah, this game really isn't that impressive looking, and like, well, I compared to like Final Fantasy like 7 and 8, it's like, yeah, it's true,
And
especially
9.
compared to like 8 or 9, but it's like, it's also Dragon Quest games have never, like Final Fantasy games have always been those like those games that show off the graphics, like, oh my god, here are the graphics, and here's this weird system that we made up, have fun. Dragon Quest is always, we have the same systems, this time we're gonna have monster taming, but hey, here's a story that is going to be the most depressing thing you've ever experienced. Have fun. Like that's what Dragon Quest games do. Or it's like, hey, we know you've played JRPGs before, so it's the same combat, whatever, but you're going to get to live through the life of this guy from birth to death. Have fun. Like that's like Dragon Quest games do that. They have these really unique story hooks, while Final Fantasy has those interesting gameplay hooks. Not really story-wise. Story-wise, they can be, I love those games, but they're not as solid as like a Dragon Quest game where it's like really crafted to make you question, life or just think about things. Especially 7. 7 gets pretty dark towards the end. It's a pretty depressing game.
It really is.
Can't wait.
It's what you bring up a good point where Final Fantasy, the Final Fantasy games, they're visual showcases. They're meant to essentially showcase whatever Sony's most recent platform was, and their story elements were saga based in that it's like one long thread, like a bunch of threads that work together to tell. It's very much like an anime, a bunch of threads to work together. But the Dragon Quest games, even though they're anime based, essentially there's one big narrative hook in each one, which I think, like, the narrative hook in this is you're going backwards and forwards in time because you're on a singular island that you're trying to figure out why, and you can't find anything like that in the Final Fantasy games.
Careful how much you spoil, because I'm currently starting my first playthrough.
Oh, really? Okay.
Of Dragon Warrior 7.
It's so good. It's so good. I won't spoil it, but there's a lot that happens in this game. Well,
they're
and then at the end, oh god, and the end, there's a whole separate, incredibly difficult boss that, I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. So like what I always like think about is like Dragon Quest games feel like fantasy novels. They're really just they're really just a long epic fantasy kind of story. And Final Fantasy are anime episodes,
I was gonna say they're just kind of like young adult. Not in a bad way. It's just it's just that they're easy to consume, and they produce things that are relatable, that let you just like enjoy it for the brevity that you not quote unquote brevity, and for the lightheartedness of it, but you're not going to really immerse yourself in it unless it's Final Fantasy 12.
Then you're playing the Phantom Menace, the video game.
Yeah. Jedi power battles? No, I'm kidding.
Final Fantasy is just strange. It's the thematic inconsistency in that series. I love it because it's like you have epic fantasy like wars about the power struggles, and you have like I need to save my friends. Like it's just like so many like ups and downs.
But that's what's nice about Final Fantasy is that like it's never the same 2 in a row.
Yep.
Yeah, right. No,
Unless
exactly.
it's 10 and 10
Exactly.
too.
Yeah.
But like as far as like the actual individually numbered games go, I mean, when can you count 2 that are particularly the same?
Yeah, you have to go back to the beginning of the franchise for it to
Right.
be like, and even
like,
then,
literally
like,
1 and 2.
yeah.
Yeah, like I think. Go ahead,
I was just gonna
JJ.
say, I think
keep
this is
stopping you.
this aesthetic is my favorite RPG aesthetic of all time. I just love the PlayStation 1 era of RPGs with like pre-rendered like 3D backgrounds with like cute little sprite work, and like being able to like so many of these RPGs you could rotate the map around and stuff. Like you just go back to this era and like with like all of these Suikoden and Grandia and Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy, and all of these are just I love the aesthetic of the PS1 RPG, Japanese RPGs.
It was the game was originally planned to be on the Nintendo 64 DD, that disk drive. That's why it looks. Yeah, that's why it looks like this. And then
interesting.
Yeah, and then when let's see, I think it moved over to the PlayStation, and that's why it kind of retains the look of a N64 type of game. So yeah,
it's probably part of the reason why, because the N64 was, more powerful as far as raw graphical complexity what it could do especially on a 3D space than what PS1 was capable of. And so I could see that pretty significantly affecting how they would complete development of this game, and probably limited them on how much 3D work they could do.
Yeah.
Yep. It's funny because I'm literally reading the Wikipedia, but I remember some certain things. The story goes that when they announced this was going over to the PlayStation, both the stock in Enix and Square's stock, because they were like sort of a prime JRPG developer, went up, and they decided, oh crap, let's merge these two companies. And that's kind of what happened with
interesting,
with that whole situation. But yeah, there you go. Good stuff. Dragon Quest 7. Great game.
It's there's nothing like it, man.
It is. It's what? Do you mean esoteric?
Esoteric, yeah. It's esoteric here in the States.
I'm just gonna throw in a couple of cents real quick. So I played it for about 60 to 90 minutes. I'm playing it on the Mister, and the camera's a little wonky. I don't know, maybe if my controller's going bum, but I feel like the camera turns automatically at times. I don't know, Zach.
It does. Does it? It does like a weird rotation thing in some.
It's not, and it's not good. It's like I just want to walk, and it's like, and it's turning, and I don't know. I don't think it's good. But so I'm also going the similar route. I also acquired the Prima games. It's on archive.org.
I have the actual guide here.
Yes, you're very old. Thank you, Dally.
Yeah, I
am. But I will say though, and I've got guides in the bookshelf over here too, so I'm certainly no hater. But I have not even gotten to the first dungeon yet, because this shit's dragging in the beginning, man. It's too long.
It's not dragging.
Maybe I'm old now. Or
yes,
maybe,
it is. It's the seventh one. I mean,
it's the seventh dragon.
The seventh dragon.
But I don't know. I don't think that the opening flow of the game is particularly that good. For as mundane of the things as they want you to do, and not that I want my hand to be held playing a game like this, but the overall direction is like too low. Yeah, sorry, Zach. I don't know.
Well, it's kind of to me, it's like, it's just kind of naturally comes because it's like, it kind of just emphasizes how I normally play a game.
I say it's a game that's rewarding you for playing a game the way you would be playing it regardless.
Yeah, I mean, like, I also talk to every NPC and like look at the stuff, but
if you do that, then you know what to do and where to go. It's kind of easy. The problem
is that they don't do it well enough, because if that was true, I would know 100%. I don't know, maybe I was tired when I was playing, but like every
the sun was in my eyes.
The importance that every dialogue is given to every character is completely flatlined. It's completely equalized to the point of negativity, in my opinion. I mean, listen, my opinion might change, but dude. Like,
everyone's allowed to have their own opinion. It doesn't mean it has to be. It doesn't mean it has to be right, but you can have an opinion.
I'm just chasing this dude around, and like it's it's mega slow.
Which version are you playing? The
original PS1.
Okay,
he's playing it on the Mister. So
playing it on the Mister, on the CRT
with his
scan lines.
A dump of his official cartridge or a disc.
The first thing I did was purchase the original CDs so that I could acquire it.
Yeah.
I think it's on.
Actually, I saw a really funny tweet today. It was like, man, I don't know if anybody else is getting tired of dumping their ROMs after 24 hours, but it's getting really tiring.
It's awesome. I will say this. Dragon Quest VII is not available on iOS, on mobile. It's only
it's too powerful for mobile.
It must be because Dragon Quest 1 through 6, I think, are available on mobile.
So is 8.
Is it 8? Yeah.
Not 7. 7 is not available. Neither is whatever Dragon Quest Die, which is just died.
It's dead.
Pretty funny. Is dead. Yeah, I just find that pretty funny. Dragon Quest 6, $15. Chaos Rings 3. You guys remember Chaos Rings?
Yes.
Oh, goodness. And then jumps to Dragon Quest 8. What else are you guys playing? Do you have anything else, Zach, that you're playing?
Ooh, I actually been thinking about this. So I started playing Ocarina of Time recently. There's a way to play it on your PC that does a bunch of cool stuff, adds it for
because you have the original ROM and the original.
ROM.
This is not the original ROM specifically.
I've bought that game multiple times. I think I can.
I've earned the right to download.
So it makes it so you can play it on your computer. With you can like add a bunch of enhancements and things. I'm not doing that. I'm just leaving it normally. Playing through it.
It feels really weird to play it at 60 FPS or more.
Yeah, you can play it on 60 FPS. It's crazy. It hurts. But you can like randomize colors and things, music, whatever. Okay, but I've played that game so much as a younger person. I haven't really played it much since I've become like a games analyst, I guess, a person who analyzes games. But playing it, because like I've always thought Ocarina of Time is good. Like it's a good game, but I never really knew why until now. It's like it is like the perfect intro tutorial introduction ever, period. Like it does such an amazing job of telling you how to play the game, what things do, how to go through this game, and where to go. It is
all of Kakariko Forest is
crazy.
Nuts.
It's like it blew my mind. I was just like, holy shit. Like, so this is why people say this is one of the best games ever made, because from just like a game design perspective, it's a flawless video game. Crazy. That's all I have to say. But I've been thinking about that a lot. It's just like, whoa.
Something that I always like about Ocarina of Time is that it's not really that big of a game, but the way they pace it makes it feel massive.
It really does.
The scale of that game feels limitless at times. It just feels like a real sort of like world that's lived in at times, and just it's so crazy how just perfectly controlled the message is in Ocarina of Time, and I absolutely love it. I love it so much.
It's honestly like feels like the penultimate video game. Like there's never going to be anything like that touches it. It gave me chills playing that game. It was like I wasn't playing it as a Zelda game. I was just playing it from like a critic's point of view. Like, let's examine this game that I used to play. I was just like, oh. It just like gave me chills. It was something else.
Cool. Taylor, what are you playing, dude? Besides Dragon Quest VII.
Yeah, so I mean, at least that was about an hour and a half, which constitutes about half of the time I spent on games for the week.
I know the feeling, yeah.
Yeah. A little bit more Minecraft. This is still the multiplayer modded server.
Mm-hmm.
This is, I don't know if I mentioned, the mod pack is called All the Mods. This
ATM.
is All the Mods. Yeah, ATM 7. Skyblock. Skyblock means that you start on this really small sky blocked, like it's like literally like 9 by 9, and you get a tree, and you have to start from that and explore all of these technological advancements and how you get through it and all that.
You have to condense your wood to make dirt, and then you got this, bro.
Yeah, you do a bunch of stuff. We're at the point where we have a supercomputer.
Okay.
And we have every ore that the game has been modded with, but that's fun.
That's cool.
What else did I play? I played 45 minutes of Devil May Cry 1.
I forgot.
Wow.
I bought the Luna. So I don't actually own any of the Devil May Cries on PC at all.
Sure. You just own the ROMs legally. No, just kidding.
No, I'm talking. This is I specified PC. Console games, of course. Any of the consoles that I own, I naturally have purchased those games and own them. But so I was the Lunar New Year sale. Capcom put it was DMC HD collection.
Mm-hmm.
The 2015 DMC. The one that they just renamed DMC?
Yeah, something like that.
I don't remember when that came out.
2015 or something like that.
2012, maybe.
There's no shot it was 2012. It was not
2013.
2013.
I think it might be 2013. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay. I was right, though. It wasn't 2012. That's the important part. And what else did it come with? DMC 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so HD collections 1, 2, and 3, right?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then it has DMC, and then it has 4, and it has 5. So it's all, and it was like less than $25.
A lot of people like DMC.
Yeah, I'm excited to actually play DMC.
DMC's kind of a fun game.
Yeah,
it's
goofy.
It's got shit on for obvious reasons.
Yes.
But
yeah.
That game is so funny.
It's funny. It's so goofy.
Anyway, back to the point. I played 45 minutes of DMC 1, and it's not good. It's not very good, man.
It's not a good game. I don't know why you're playing it.
It's weird.
I'm literally gonna stop.
It's weird how the 3D high-speed action game in the Resident Evil 1 engine turned out. So.
Dude, it's like your character moves like it's walking through honey, and all the enemies are almost equally, or I mean, they're all slow. They're all really slow. Until they throw something, in which case it like fucking teleports to you. And
look, man, 2001, great game. 2023.
Yeah, I mean 2001, that shit was slapping.
Yeah.
Skip 1 and 2 and just play 3, 4, and 5.
And also, weren't the HD collection games all just garbage anyways? I thought there was something about, because that's back when
it might be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But 1 still sucks because all the encounters are bounced around your guns.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's bounce around you shooting. That's it.
And the guns are boring. You literally you have to. I'm pretty sure you have to hold right bumper.
Yeah, again,
And-
it's Resident Evil. It's in the.
Oh man,
It's in the
good
same
lord.
engine.
It's in the same.
You literally hold right bumper and you just spam square or
Yeah.
X if you're on Xbox controller, and you just walk around and do that for 15 minutes, and then boom, congratulations, you beat the level. Hope you got your
and the
rusty
levels are
key.
like 15 seconds long.
Like,
Yeah, I say they're all like loop-de-loop corridors. You find one secret entrance.
doesn't 3 go into like a shmup sequence at some point? It becomes a shmup game.
I'm going to end my relationship with DMC1. I'm okay.
That's a good question. Stefan says, "Do you think they'll ever make a remake of the original?"
No.
I think they'll. I do think
I
they'll
don't
remake
think
the
so.
first. The first. Game.
I think they're just
will.
gonna. I just think
Devil
they'll
May
keep.
Cry?
I think they will.
No.
Yeah. You don't think so?
No shot.
The originals?
No, it's
Why?
not. It's not big enough for
And
them.
the story is kind of like with Resident Evil. There's theoretically a cohesive
Resident
story.
Evil is a legitimate whether we
Yeah.
whether we argue if it's good
Hear
or
me-
not. It's
hear
a
me
legitimate
out.
multimedia franchise.
They'll remake it.
Uh-huh.
In this like Final Fantasy VII style remake, in that it's a full remake, and then it ends up referencing the original Devil May Cry 1 game.
Now,
in a
if
way.
anything, they're just going.
that's too-
They're just
that's
going to
too-
do what. They're just going to do what DMC was again. They're just going to start over with a
Just
new
start
Devil
over.
May
There you
Cry.
go.
There's not.
I like
gonna
Devil
be...
May Cry 4.
Devil May Cry
They-
4. That was the
4 is really
360 one,
good.
right? That was
Yeah,
dope.
yeah. That's dope.
They already made the choice. They made DMC.
They already
and then
made their bed.
And then
They're
they
sleeping
went
in it.
back. They're
Yeah.
not going back and DMCing it again.
You never know. I mean,
You never
they
know. Bring back
could,
that really awesome Prince of Persia game.
Yeah, 2018 or the 2020.
Yeah, when's it coming out?
Yeah, 2012. I don't know.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, so I played that. What else?
It's 2008, by the way. It was Prince of Persia
Oh,
08.
jeez.
That was the.
Dude,
I was mentioning. I
DMC3
mean, I already talked
was
about the
so
mine.
good.
I already talked about the Minecraft bit, but tangential to that, I was away this weekend, but I still
Ooh,
wanted to hop on it.
congratulations.
Wow,
it was-
thanks for telling
yeah,
us.
Good shot. What was that?
I went to my in-laws for 2 nights. What are you talking? But I still wanted to hop on a little bit and play some modded MC, and getting that to work on Steam Deck was interesting. But I brought the dock, brought the Steam Deck, brought a keyboard, and brought a mouse.
The Steam
And-
Dock, as they might say.
No.
And
No, they won't say.
pretty I originally tried to get it to work in Windows because I thought I had to, because I'm playing it through the Game Pass. Nope, not with Minecraft. You just, as long as you authenticate with a Microsoft account, you get in. So running it natively on Linux, and it actually works, aside from the fact that it turns the Steam Deck into a constant leaf blower. With how loud the fan runs. It worked great. It was really neat.
That's I'm finding the same thing in my case with I loaded up the Ubisoft launcher on the Steam Deck to give that a shot. I'm like, Ubisoft Plus or whatever it's called, Uplay. I don't know what it's called anymore. They keep handing out those game Uplay. They keep handing out those games for free all the time. I don't know how they were going to make money. So I figured, let me go ahead and try to get that installed on the Steam Deck, and it was fairly easy actually to get it installed and running on the Steam Deck. And I decided, let's play Rayman Legends and see how that does. So downloaded Rayman Legends, got it running, and oh boy, because it's not native to the Steam Deck, that sucker burned through that battery, and the fan was kicking. When stuff is not native and hasn't been tested on the Steam Deck, it's not going. Yeah, it's obviously going to have potentially some adverse effects to the.
Man, what a
to
good
the
fucking
hardware.
game, though.
Rayman Legends is great. It's
On
interesting
the
because
Wii U with the
the Wii U version was
platforms?
awesome.
Had
It's
the
so
touch
good.
shit,
The Wii U
yeah.
version. They took all that away for the regular version. You just hit one of the buttons, and the
Yeah.
little dude zips over, and it's like, oh, that's
It's like,
boring.
oh, can you move the platform? Yeah. It's like,
You had to use your finger. It was awesome.
Great.
So yeah, okay, cool. JJ, do you want to go?
I guess I don't really.
Has anyone been playing Forspoken?
No.
Forget it.
I definitely haven't. I definitely didn't spend like 3 hours modding a Wii U yesterday so I could play
Nintendo Land again. Yeah.
legally acquired games on my Wii U.
Bayonetta 2 at 60 frames a second.
Yeah, I was playing
Which one?
the good
Bayonetta
Mario
2.
Maker. Yeah.
I still have the actual disc for that. You could have just asked me. I would have sent that over to you.
Yeah, just mail it over to me.
Yeah, that's way easier than like downloading a ROM. You're right. I mean, dumping the disc I already have.
Dumping disc you already
Yeah,
have.
asking Dolly to dump it and sending it to me in the mail.
And then you have to delete it 24 hours later.
Yeah, and then we have to do it again the next day. And
it's just keep sending it back and forth. Keep sending it.
Yeah.
But,
so I played.
The original Mario Maker is pretty damn awesome.
So good.
It's so good.
It's so much better. It has fewer features overall, but it does what it lacks in that, it makes up for in literally every other aspect of the fact that
it was also sick to have the gamepad and like actually literally draw on the gamepad for when you were making stuff.
Yeah, I was making a course and I forgot just how like, oh yeah, that's right. This game was actually like good for this thing.
It was designed for that. Like you can play the touchscreen version on the Switch, but just doesn't feel the same. It's not even close.
And I like the aesthetic of Mario Maker.
Dolly,
Wii U.
You had to lean back and the camera followed you. It was really funny.
That's awesome.
You can't escape it. It needs to see this. I like the aesthetic of Mario Maker on the Wii U a lot more too. It has that drop shadow effect on everything, where it all looks like it's kind of like a toy, or like you're physically sticking stuff onto a stage. It's really cool.
Being
and
called
the
out by Playlane.
Yeah, and I and I do like the costumes, where
the costumes, the amiibo is great.
Yeah.
Dude,
Pro tip,
I remember
go out and buy like 18 million amiibo cards that are free. Like pennies for all the different characters.
I have been saying my respects to all of my friends in the Avengers as
you go in there. I'm gonna play with Spider-Man now.
Yeah.
Bye, my
One
friend.
last run, buddy. Let's go.
One last run.
Pocket Card Jockey came out on iOS.
Yeah,
that's basically that's basically what I've been playing because that game's fucking great. Racing
Card Jockey is so good.
So good. I like that style of solitaire, that sort of like sequential clearing solitaire. There was an iOS game that was like a golf one that I really liked, and I forget what it was called now, but
I remember that
golf
one.
Cart
Jockey.
Yeah, where it was like like you had to go and like 9 irons and shit. But Pocket Card Jockey, like, I'm glad that this game got saved from the 3DS. It's from Game Freak, so it's it's like a significant studio was getting like one of their weird little side projects like removed from the world thanks to the 3DS closure. But so it's nice to see it sort of. It seems to be the same exact game. With some minor like story and everything. Exactly
they Metopia it in that they cleaned up the graphics on aisle 3.
I would say cleaned up is subjective because it has these weird, hyper realistic like grass and dirt features.
Look at the horse.
And then you have this.
Fine.
Yeah, the horse has the head is bigger than its body.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
It looks like a Harvest Moon horse, you guys.
Yeah, it definitely does.
The game explained video, by the way, guys. Thank you. And check out. So this is a very Nintendo thing to do, which was to make the hyper realistic, a very Japanese development thing to do, I should say.
Yeah.
I love when companies do this. But yeah, there you go. You're playing solitaire. How do you speed up? Literally,
it's not even solitaire. It's just like. No, you just have to like
the numbers.
Yeah, press them in order, and then when you're done, you flip it. It's like there's no like banking system or anything. And then like you get to a section where it's like, okay, you're making the turn, so now you have to like drag your horse to like certain zones, and it's like he's going to use more energy here, but he's going to go faster, but he's going to get tired faster. But if you go back here, he's going to use less energy, and you're trying to like, and when you get to the home stretch, how much you've cleared leading up to there gives you your boost for the final stretch, and then like your horses only race for like a couple of years, and then you have to put them out, put them out to stud, so then you can like make other horses or retire them, and it really leans like hard into the horse racing aspect of it more than you think it would for being a solitaire game. I loved this on the 3DS. It was one of my most played 3DS games.
Same.
It's nice to go back to it.
It's so funny. No, I never touched it.
You totally should. Because it's really good.
My circle of friends that are game developers, they have been talking about this game for years. Yeah. Like, you have to play fucking card jockey. They've been talking about it for years, and I've been just not playing it. But now it's like
another great game to have on the 3DS when you go into the bathroom at the office.
Yeah,
I'm still waiting on them to release this guy, a modern.
Yeah, Rusty's Real Baseball.
Just one of the greatest characters of all time that Nintendo's created, a sad divorced dad.
Yeah.
Dog
that you have to haggle with. He's got a comb over. He's sad.
My poor kids were just trying to cook a little food for themselves, and I burnt the house down.
Oh, it's so good. It's so silly, and it's actually a fun game. So
because there's actual baseball. And challenges.
Yeah.
But the game was sold as
just
DLC.
a Yakuza mini game.
Yeah. And it's a free game that you have to buy all these mini games.
Yeah, you have to pay real physical money for the mini games, but you can haggle with Rusty to get a lower price.
Yeah, exactly. This game is $4. Like if you bought it, $4, you're paying $4 for the DLC. But you can haggle with him by doing stuff and and you can get that price down to like $2.
Yeah,
$1.50.
And that's the amount that you actually spend.
Yeah, that's physical dollars. That $4 is physical $4. But you can haggle and do chores for this dog and get a discount on this. See, here he is. Now, it's the most insane thing. Like Nintendo was really playing.
How did they figure that shit? I just can't believe that Nintendo actually did something as interesting as that.
Nintendo was really playing with, especially on the 3DS, with what DLC was and how like because there was that Pokemon.
Kidding.
There was that Pokemon Picross game where it's like you could keep paying money for shit until you reach a point, and then it's just like, okay, it's yours. It's all whatever. Stop.
Look at discount ticket.
$50 off. You've got a coupon. Money. It's bizarre to think that this game is amazing.
And also notice that it's bootleg Nintendo stuff that he's selling because it's not Nintendo.
The first pay to earn. Who figured the first pay to earn game would come from a Nintendo 3DS game? Play to earn. Oh my god!
I love the idea of Rusty's Real Deal Baseball so much.
They make the world's best games, Nintendo. Anything else, JJ?
Persona 3 on the Steam Deck because Persona 3 is a really fucking good game, and giving me the opportunity to play it again kind of easily.
You shoot yourself in the head with a gun.
You shoot yourself in the head with a gun to basically to isekai yourself at midnight. You and your friends isekai themselves. They reeled it in.
Study for a test.
Yeah, and then you gotta make good with your friends afterwards. It's different. It's not quite the same as crawling through a TV like the fourth one, but
God, Persona 4 is so good.
They're all three like they're all great. There's not a bad Persona game. Like even the PS1 games that are kind of like super weird and hard to play,
The
and
super weird ones where you're friends with Adolf Hitler.
Yes.
It's pretty cool.
I should get my legally owned
Legally obtained
copy
Persona.
of PS1
Yeah.
Persona games and try them on the Mister.
Yeah.
They're cool isometric like 2D games.
Yeah. You don't.
Oh, so a PS1 game, you say?
Yeah, and it's hard to describe how those games play because it's just so like janky in a weird way, but not. Yeah.
There's that Demon School game coming out. That's what they are.
Yeah. Yes. I played that at PAX. It is 100. That Demon School game is exactly especially Persona 2. It's definitely just straight Persona 2. So I'm excited for that. I could talk about Skinamarink if we wanted to. That's the only significant thing.
I haven't seen it, but I
don't think there's anything like anyone could ever
You can
say.
spoil.
Yeah, because
Like-
it's 100 minutes with like 10 minutes of plot. It's just really just spooky, lo-fi sounds and children building Lego. It's extremely my shit. I love this weird experimental nonsense, and it's like a budget of $15,000. Like that's the extent of the budget of this movie, and you can see
like
it
primary.
on every frame. It feels like it's filmed on a children's like baby monitor. It's great. It's so good. It's like you can barely. They have the movie is subtitled. And everyone speaks English, so that it's got such a low quality microphone being used in that movie that like everything's distorted and crackly and muffled, and it's two really really young children that can barely understand the concept of English as it is, and now here they are having to remember lines to say out loud for the few lines there are throughout the movie. But
it is online on those kinds of websites. Wink, wink. If you want to,
those kinds of websites.
yeah,
But
I'm probably gonna acquire it and watch it tonight. Maybe.
Nice.
Yeah, it's Zach. It's definitely a Zach ass movie. I don't know. I could never recommend it to anybody.
Why?
Because
What's it called? What was the name of it?
Skinamarink.
Skinamarink. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's right.
because it's so inaccessible because of how just nothing the movie is. Like, I guess it's scary, but it's more just tense, but it's not. It's just an experimental little art film that's you could tell somebody really liked the idea of this movie and went with it.
So why did they get a theatrical release?
could not fucking tell you. The art house theater that I go to, where this kind of stuff plays, sold out 4 showings of it, and to the point where it became so successful that they're running it during like normal operating business hours, every day next week. Because every Friday and Saturday night they do a thing that's called Weird Elephant, where they just get like obscure or like a favorite word of the show, esoteric movies.
Esoteric.
It's just like, and so like this is the perfect movie for it. Next week I think they're playing Blade 2, which just lets you know how all over the place this place goes. But yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's definitely just one of those things. Like, I cannot tell you why this got picked up for a mass release. Shudder just really went for it. It's coming to Shudder, I think, next month. I think it's coming out in February. But yeah, it's great. But it's weird, awesome. And it's a good theater going experience just because nobody knows what's going on at any given time. Because like even visually, like you're sitting there and you're like squinting at the screen, like is that like a person or just like the refrigerator? I can't tell because it's
That's
so
what makes
low.
it scary.
Yeah, it's so low quality and like it plays into that, especially later, way later in the movie. It plays into the fact that it's so low quality that you can't see anything. So yeah.
It's like that scene in True Detective season 1 where the police officer sees the thing on the TV, but you don't see it. You just see his reaction.
Yeah,
to it.
yeah.
Well, yeah.
That's what the entire movie is. Like it's just you trying to decipher what's on the screen at any given second. So yeah. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got to talk about.
Nice. All right. Well, I've still plowing through that Fire Emblem Three Houses game. So I won't talk about that.
So
but I will
that's
talk
the
about
old one.
That's the old one. And I mentioned that I somehow ended up with 3 copies of Fire Emblem Engage.
Somehow.
I had
somehow. How could this have happened?
No, so I bought the Divine Edition, which is the boxed one, because I fully blame Wario 64. He had been my bane for the last like 3 years because I'm much more locked in front of a computer with access to Wario 64 than I ever have been. So he listed Fire Emblem Engage. It was available for pre-order when Nintendo had their direct back in like whenever it was. Oh, pre-ordered it. Cool. Target had it. Awesome. Pre-ordered it. Forgot that I had pre-ordered the Divine Edition. And then he posted on like back in December with, hey, Fire and the Engage Divine Edition is available on bestbuy.com. I'm like, Best Buy. I checked on. I don't have it pre-ordered. I'm pre-ordering the game on Best Buy because I had forgotten that I pre-ordered it. So I pre-ordered on Best Buy, and then like a couple weeks later or something, again forgot that I pre-ordered it. He mentions that there's a tarot card version available through GameStop. I'm like, oh, my daughter's getting into tarot cards. Actually, maybe I can pick this version up. So I pre-ordered it through GameStop.
This definitely version sounds like it's Wario 64's fault.
It totally is. GameStop version arrives at my house in the mail, but no tarot cards. So I read the email because it showed up like on Sunday. I read the email and it said, "Oh yeah, the tarot cards. You have to pick them up in store the day of launch of the game, and bring your printed receipt with you." I'm like, wait a minute, what? This is like so back-asswards. So so I get I call up GameStop, the local GameStop. I'm like, yeah, hey, I got to bring this in. It says for we don't have any left. What do you mean you don't have any left? Yeah, we don't have any left. Try one of the other GameStops, but we only got sent like 5 of them. I'm like, oh, okay. So I call up the other GameStop. Yeah, no, we're out. I call up like 4 GameStops in the area. We don't have any. I'm like, all right, fuck, I'm returning it. So I fucking returned the game. And as I hand the guy the game, I get the return information. I'm getting ready to walk out, and he's like, this isn't GameStop. Of course, the guy, this isn't GameStop. This is definitely Nintendo's problem. We're gonna get like 500 of these things tomorrow in the mail. I'm like, why'd you fucking tell me this after I just returned the game? I could have waited. Well, whatever. So I am now without any of the Fire Emblem Engage because I had overpurchased. So got that $270 back. Thank you very much. But I have been playing a game for review, which I got the code last week.
At least somebody's doing their job around here.
At least, hey, Zach did a review game. He did Dread Templar.
I'm still playing it.
Still playing it. He's playing it right now instead of talking to me. I'm playing a game which I actually previewed at PAX East, and I don't think I did a write-up for it. Maybe I did. I don't remember. I know we talked about it at least. Called Power Chord. Power Chord comes out tomorrow. Power Chord is a card battling RPG as there are, but it's music, heavy metal themed. Do you guys see the screen? You see the screen?
Yeah.
And so what you do is you have characters on your team, and you can actually change your band. You have a heavy, you have a healer, you have all that stuff, but they're based around different aspects of a band. So you have a guitar, like a shredder will be the heavy, the bass player will be the heavy, the drummer will be this, the singer will do this, guitar does this.
I remember seeing this. Yeah.
Which is a cool idea. And then the cards that you actually get are based, or they're based around attack. So it is very much a turn-based RPG using cards. It is it's kind of this path-based sort of thing. I don't want to call it a roguelite by any chance, but you do follow a path from left to right on a not really an overworld. It's just you win a match.
And does this
look
similar to certain other
yes,
games?
Exactly. Very much so. I mean, if you hear,
wait, is this
Dead by?
Is this Darkest Dungeon 2?
Yeah, it does kind of feel. It's I love the idea of theming the character, and it plays really well. By the way, it's a really solid RPG experience. And when you get used to the cards and start to understand some of the mechanics behind them, because let me see if I can find one of the cards here. Well, you can see all these things around the characters. All the different, you have their health kind of stays the same, but you have all the augments on top and like certain other like in-match augments on the bottom. And the cards, I want to get a better shot of the cards here if I can. Is this a card here? I'll just show you one of these. Each of these cards, you can kind of build your deck. Some of the cards will deal X amount of damage based on the amount of enemies on the screen to a certain amount of enemies. Some will be, here's the will vampire, which affects the stance. There's things like called stances within this game and how you attack and how the enemies attack and that kind of stuff. So it's pretty interesting. There's a certain amount of dice rolls you can do. You start off with having 4 attack points that you utilize, and each of the cards has 1, 2, or 3 different takes up amount of points, just like any of these games do. But it's much more of an RPG than it is like a Marvel Snap type of thing. But you are collecting these bandmates and kind of assembling your perfect band, where I think the game is kind of lacking a little bit in that they really could have gone a little bit more with the music aspect, and not necessarily just themed music, but actually made music a whole part of the game. We just talked about Hi-Fi Rush and how you attack enemies and you do combos based on sort of a rhythm aspect. In this game, there's none of that. It really is, instead of a healer, we have a singer. Instead of a heavy, we have a guitar player.
I think we call it a bard, Dally.
Thank you, a bard. And they're using cards for the bards. And again, it works really well. I actually do like this game quite a bit. It's going to be a game that I can kind of see myself, playing over and over again, building sort of the perfect team and the perfect deck on those kind of multiple layers. But it's just not far enough on the music aspect as I was hoping it would be. Yeah, I don't know. I really do wish there was more. There was a little bit more to that stuff. Like, I wish the attacks you used somehow affected the sounds you hear, or the bandmates that you had affected the music or whatever. I wish there was a little bit more built into the actual music side rather than just the idea, the theme of the music. But that being said, it is a lot of fun. Really cool character design. Really cool. And look at this crazy bone guitarist dude. I've probably sunk about 6-7 hours into it already, and I think it pops out tomorrow, so it's good. Again, if you like card games and you like RPGs and you like turn-based crap, which I do, all that stuff I do, this is definitely a good game. Definitely want to check out. I don't know, the longevity of it is what I'm a little bit afraid of. Like, it does start to feel really repetitive once you get that team kind of figured out. So, I mean, take that as what you will. If you like going through these, I know people who like Slay the Spire, people who like, no, it's not licensed music. People who like Slay the Spire, people who like Steam World Quest, like those games for very specific reasons. This is much more of a kind of a compressed version of those. So, yeah, there you go. I like it. Check it out. It's worth. It's great on a Steam Deck. Absolutely great on a Steam Deck. Font size actually of a decent size as well. So I was playing it sitting on the couch watching TV, and I thought, this is this is the way to play this game. I love playing it in handheld mode. But yeah, Power Chords, really good game. Again, just wish there was a little bit less repetitive, a little bit more to the music aspect that I think they're just missing out on. But check it out. Thank you to the folks for providing the code to this game. That's all I have for myself.
I'm glad you're the one that reviewed that, Dolly, because I wouldn't have been nice.
Well, I mean, it's interesting to judge these types of games because folks that are really hardcore into card games and know their card game stuff, if you're really, really hardcore into Slay the Spire, you actually may not love this game because it's much more, I don't want to say dumbed down, but it's much more accessible than Slay the Spire. Like Slay the Spire is very much a deck building, real emphasis on the deck building aspect of it. This is not. This is much more on the turn-based RPG aspect with deck building as the gameplay and music as sort of the flavoring, but not, and that's why I said I feel like it starts to miss out a little bit on what it could have been. But it's not bad. It's just, could be up here if you really went all the way, because I'd love to see a music-based card battler, but this is not it.
There's that one game that got canceled. What's it called?
Drop Mix?
Yeah.
Drop Mix, yeah.
Dude, I'd love...
DJ Hero 3DS.
DJ Hero 3DS. Yeah, there you go. That's all I've been playing. Just like you, Taylor, one of those where if I get 3 hours and an hour and a half is one game and an hour and a half is the other game. Just one of those things. Elite Beat Playland says, he says Elite Beat Agents 2. Man, if Elite Beat Agents 2 had some card aspect to it, I think that could kind of kick ass.
So
man.
I'm depressed nobody ever made like an Elite Beat Agents ripoff when the Kinect was hot, because it's kind of like the perfect shit for that, where you just dancing with the fucking Elite Beat Agents.
Dude, Dance Central is still fucking awesome. That's one of my favorite games.
That game is still alive and well on the Quest. Like, they still make that game and release like new tracks for Dance Central on the Quest.
Really?
Yeah.
That's wild. That's wild. That's
Guitar Man 2. Yeah. You know how much I would kill each and every one of you personally for a new Guitar Man game. So
well,
please no.
Yeah, do not kill me.
Well, the good news is they're never gonna do it, so you're safe for now.
Is it making a new game though? The one with the rabbit, or did that not get successfully funded? Do you remember that?
I don't think it got successfully funded.
I wonder why.
I hear that a lot.
I do want to say thank you all for joining us, Zach, JJ, Taylor, myself. Thank you to our wonderful viewers. Thank you to the listeners. Thank you to the studio audience. Give yourselves a round of applause. Give yourselves a round of applause. We love you guys. Thank you. Sit down.
You could just
no encore.
Listen, you could just use the audio from our sold out PAX panel,
which is gonna be hopefully they give us a thumbs up for this year. That PAX panel, we have submitted for it. We will let you know the name as soon as it goes, as it gets approved, because we don't want the name to be taken, because it's pretty freaking awesome. Good job, JJ, coming up with the name this time. Real excited for that. But you can find us sidequesting.com. You can find us in the Discord. You can find us on Mastodon, on Hive, on TikTok, on Snapchat, on wherever you'd like to find us. You know where to find us. With that said, we'll see you all in the next episode of The Side Quest. Bye-bye.